Nick, thank you for joining me. Nick is the president of Samservice. They are a $12 million service company in Albany, Georgia. They've got approximately 80 employees in 4 locations. Now that's, that puts Nick in the realm of, a growing business. And what I love is the story. Nick and I go back a little bit of time. And when I met him, they had 6 employees and one in a single location. And I don't remember, Nick, your revenue, but I think you were around $1 million in revenue. So, why does this topic matter to everybody in the room? So small businesses employ almost 50% of the private sector, and they make up 43.5% of the GDP. So what that tells us is that what we are producing in a small business is, it's the breadbasket of America. It is what America is all about. And so, I'm excited to have Nick here and joining us. Nick, thanks for investing your time today, and everybody who is joining us in your journey to success and joy coexisting. So we're going to get started. And we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship. And I want to touch base real quickly on my book, Living Exponentially, which can be found on Amazon, both in a digital version and a paperback. Coming soon is the audio version. Chapter 7 focuses on converting a culture from accidental to on purpose and talks a little bit about our journey. But today we're going to talk all about Nick's journey and how they've made that come to life. So Nick, thank you so much. I know I gave you a short intro. I'd love you to expand upon that and tell us a little bit about you, yourself, and Samservice, and why it is that we brought you here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first and foremost, I'm here because I consider you a really good friend. I'm a big fan of who you are as a professional, but I'm a bigger fan of who you are personally. You are an exceptional human being, and I'm happy to support you any way I can.
We're all real here.
We're all real, just a bunch of real folks. So, yeah, I am not defined by the profession that I have, thank God. I am defined by I believe who God says I am and what He's called me to do. And through that, I want to be the best professional that I can be, the best dad, husband, friend, father. So overarching, you'll probably hear elements of that value system that I have in my brain, that belief system rather, kind of bleed into everything that I do as we go throughout this talk today. That's sincerely who I am. I'm married to an awesome woman named Christina. She's obviously not real smart because she's been hanging around me for 16 years, even though I've given her a whole bunch of reasons to walk right out. And I've got a 15-year-old daughter named Bailey, who's in the 10th grade. I've got a 6-year-old daughter named Bentley, who's in kindergarten. And I've got a 4-year-old son, Mr. Eason, who's in pre-K. We also got a golden doodle. She thinks that she's 2 pounds and she's actually about 18. So we deal with that all the time, but she's the sweetest animal in the world. We were talking earlier about the sniffles, Jennifer. Sorry, I just had something pop up. Jennifer, and we were saying that if you got your health, you got everything. And that's just as true for myself as it is for all those people that I just named, including the dog. I have a whole lot of stuff going right with the entrepreneurial mindset. And if you don't have the health of yourself and the ones you love, it's kind of all for naught. So
yeah,
that's
and
just me sliding in right there.
Yeah, and that really ties into everything you just said, Nick. I think just ties into everything we do. And I spent, for those of you who aren't aware, I spent 30 years doing the business thing. We sold our company in 2019, and I stayed on until last year. And what I really realized is, for decades, people would ask me, like, how do you do what you do, and how can you make this all happen? Like, we have 10 kids, and I volunteer, and I do all of these things, and I'm high energy, so I'll give that. Yeah. But I think that what it really is thinking about things holistically. Like, you just mentioned, you aren't defined by your career. And I think many of us, you go to any sort of meeting, it's like, what's your title? What do you do? Where do you live? All of your stats. And unfortunately, I think we are in a world where it's so divided, our personal lives and our professional lives, instead of thinking about our lives as one life. You only have one life. And, it's such a fallacy to say I have a work life. No, you don't. You only have one life. You do work. And you don't have a personal life, you have a life.
Right.
And so I just think that's that's just a really big part of the whole story at Be Exponential. So I want to talk to you a little bit about, you started out teeny tiny little company. You probably, went to dinner most nights with the people that you worked with,
Mm.
and now you've got 80 employees. And I remember that evolution. And, the first time somebody got hired that I did an interview, that was a big moment in my own life. The first time that I didn't know like them personally. So I just love you to talk a little bit, give a little bit of a story about Samservice and how you've gone from where you're at to where you are, and a little peek at maybe where you want to be, in 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I came to work at Samservice, it was definitely still in 100% startup mode. I went to work there as a dispatcher for $10 an hour. As a matter of fact, when I met you, Jennifer, in Anaheim at the NAFM Cefesa joint show, I was a dispatcher then, and we had aspirations of major growth, and we knew that we needed to network, and we knew we needed counsel and education and training, not just in regards to the technicians, but also as businessmen and businesswomen. So that's why we found ourselves there, and that's how I met you ultimately. But from there, it was, man, I'll tell you what, we started doing the entrepreneurial operating system. A lot of people know it as EOS, and that catapulted our company. It forced us to get real about what is our vision of winning. What are our values that we're going to stay committed to? And then, all right, now let's piece that together. What does it look like in 10 years, 3 years, 1 year, this quarter, this month? And we've stayed committed to that for almost 10 years now, and it's given us just a lot of growth and a lot of fun. And more so than the numbers, Jennifer, I think it's just allow us to attack issues, because
Mhm.
the issues exist whether you write them down or not. They exist whether you talk about them or not. And I feel like the one thing that's catapulted our growth more than anything is we don't let anything get swept under the rug. We don't ignore things because they're uncomfortable or because they're hard. We accept things as truth and we deal with them. And that's been really, really fulfilling along the way. When you look back over your shoulder and say, yeah, we've grown the company, but it's also like, man, we've developed a lot of people. We've divorced ourselves from bad partnerships. We have grown and gained like lifelong partnerships with ones that do matter, that we know as we grow, we can count on these corporations or these people. It's a lot of fun as we look at where we are right now. Looking back, it's like, man, we know we wouldn't be here without these partnerships, people, and this process. We know exactly who we are right now, but as we look forward, it gives us a lot of confidence to know that, hey, we can keep doing what we're doing because it's working.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't plant any of this, by the way. There's Nick and I think we're both pretty impromptu. So,
Oh yeah.
everything you're hearing is just organic, but you said so
No,
many
I
things.
typed that whole thing. I just read
You
that out. I
did,
just
you
typed
did.
it.
All right, fine. Sorry, I was busted. No, but you said so many things there. One of the things you talked about is success as you defined it. And, I think, especially for women, this audience is primarily women. And one of the things that I really have a passion around is teaching the men, in leadership, how to employ and be successful with women, and then help women understand what success looks like. And I think there's so many women out there that either feel like success is defined as climbing the corporate ladder, or success is defined by somebody else. But success can be your wife is a successful stay-at-home mom.
Mhm.
There's successful mompreneurs. There are successful women who are entrepreneurs, and it isn't a matter of that one is right or one is wrong. You said it when you said we define what our success looks like. And
Right.
so I think for women, especially, women have to define what they think success, what their own success looks like, and stop looking out the window at, what everybody else is defining as success. And I think, that's what you said about business. I just wanted to, expand upon it for this audience. And then the second thing that you mentioned was how fulfilling it was to develop people and develop leaders. And I think, that is the entrepreneurial mindset. And so as you've gone from 6 people to 80, how do you maintain it? Like how is it? Because now I'm sure there's many, many things you have, taken off your plate and given to other people. How do you get them to do what you did in the way that you did it or better? Right.
Yeah, so one of the pillars of my particular form of leadership that I lean on all the time is a leader's not a leader until they produce another leader.